But I've got no sense. Get it? Because I'm a pet. No, please. Shields. What are they good for? Right now? Not much. The concept behind a shielded unit is that they block a percentage of incoming range damage from their front half when not in combat or, not facing the right way. Nothing's wrong with the concept, it's the application that's a little... If you don't know what I mean, riddle me this. How is a dwarf lord, a veteran of hundreds of years of combat, carrying around a master-crafted, rune-inscribed bulwark the size of a table, considered a bronze shield? And yet somehow all these goblins running around with scrap metal and snot smeared on their arm are considered silver? And while I'm complaining about dwarves, why does every single unit in the dwarf roster, except Belagor Ironhammer, have bronze shields? From normal warriors to the ultra elite ironbreakers to naked idiots swinging their axes. The system doesn't make a lick of sense. And gold shields are a thing, they just don't actually naturally occur in the game. So we only use 2/3 of our shield spectrum, and not very well at that. So, how do we fix this? By whining about it on the internet, of course, along with theorizing an entirely new dimension to shields across the whole game. So that's why I suggest... the super sexy size shifting spectacular shield surprise, or the SSSSSSSShield. So we start with size, the idea of how big is the actual shield compared to the unit that's carrying it. So we would have 3 sizes. Small shields are surprisingly small. They cover a quarter of the body, they're not that good. Bucklers, arm guards, whatever, just small. Medium is a medium-sized shield. It's what you would normally imagine when you think the word shield. Empire swordsmen, orc boys, that kind of size. Large. This is like 75% to entirely could hide behind it. It's a big shield. Now we take those 3 sizes and we add on 3 qualities. So there's bronze, low quality, mass-produced garbage that's just wood, hide, and scrap metal. This is going to be mostly Skaven and greenskins, because they don't really care about that. Silver. This is a good general quality. This is, hey, it's a shield. It will save your life. This is Empire, elves, most dwarves. It's a decently made shield. And then gold. These are master crafted or enchanted or just a very skilled warrior using it. So this would be Ironbreakers, Longbeards, Chaos Chosen, just the biggest, baddest, scariest shields you could make. So putting it very bluntly, size dictates how many of the shots are going to be reduced. Meanwhile, the quality is the actual reduction that's occurring. Also, I'm taking into effect normal and armor piercing damage. Normal damage gets rolled down, armor piercing up, because that's what it's supposed to do, pierce. So here's a really scary looking example, but I'll walk you through it. A large bronze shield would be reducing 3/4 of incoming shots by 1/4. So that means if we had 100 missiles of 6 normal damage and 15 armor piercing flying at a target, 25 missiles would get through just fine and do their usual. But 75 missiles would be doing it at a reduced amount. Getting the 1/4 of the usual damage leads to 4 normal damage and 11 armor piercing damage. You multiply that by the 75 missiles that are being reduced, and you end up with around 1,650 damage in total at the end. And that's before resistances and armor, because if they're magical attacks, then magic resistance would lower it still. There's the armor that blocks the normal damage, and you can still have normal missile resistance on top of this. So you just put this together with all the other different kinds of shields, and you put in the different fractions, and you get this. As you can see, there is quite a spread of damage reductions. Small bronze is practically nothing, while a large gold is more than half. A very resilient kind of shield. They all cover a various spread. It's not like one thing is incredibly better than the other. If you look at the extremes of small gold and large bronze, there's really not that much of a change. Here's a second graph just showing a different kind of missile attack coming in. This one a lot more normal damage focused. And you can see there is a little bit of the change with the rounding down or up depending on what kind it is. So, ignoring all that scary math and going back to brass tacks, my main point here is, wouldn't it be nice if there's actually a whole spectrum of shields that all felt different and made different characters more tanky and, were actually noticeable and special, instead of just bronze and silver and not making any sense at all? Now I'll wrap this up by just going through all the existing factions and talking about how I would change them. I would start with the Beastmen, but I don't have their worthless faction. So, Bretonnia! Lords, heroes, and knights are all medium silver, but the Grail Knights could be gold, and the lords and heroes could reach that with items or by completing the Grail Vow. Meanwhile, all the peasants are medium bronze, but it could be silver with a late game tech, who knows? And just a suggestion, maybe the Grail Relique is a small silver, because, I don't know, the corpse catches arrows. Dark Elves, lords and heroes with shields obviously, would be a large silver. That would be the kind of standard that you would expect because all the infantry carry the same shields too, but the lords and heroes would be able to go up to gold with skills or items, whatever. The cavalry would all be medium silver because it's a guy on a mount, can't cover all of it, and Sisters of Slaughter would be small silver. Dwarves! The idea here is that they actually get shields that work. So basically everyone starts at large silver. Meanwhile, the top tier infantry would be gold, and lords and heroes would be able to get there very easily with items or skills. Slayers have small silver because it's not a shield, they're just swatting their axes, but I was thinking that perhaps runesmiths and lords could have it as well because, hey, I mean, they have to have some rune that keeps them protected from this, right? Empire, the stock standard. Basically everyone has a medium silver shield. Lords and heroes can go up to gold, but a couple of suggestions. A, maybe flagellants could be small bronze just because they're crazy. And a completely out there suggestion, what if war wagons had an aura that when they're not moving, they give all nearby unshielded allies large bronze? Because the real life counterpart that these things are based off of were just little mobile fortresses. It could be a cool idea. Greenskins. Since it's all made out of crap and built to scale, that means that the vast majority of them are just going to be medium bronze. Yeah, hero could go up to silver, but it's just the war bosses and the Black Orc big bosses that have medium silver. You could say all the monsters and bump wagons have bronze small, but High Elves, not a lot of shields actually. There's the Prince and the Spearman and the Northern Seaguard, and that's about it. So they would all default at a large silver. The cavalry would be medium silver. And otherwise, I would just ask to put the White Lions of Crace with the Swordmasters of Hoeth with the little arrow blocking thing. Give them medium, bronze, small, silver, whatever you want, something like that. Lizardmen, another kind of odd one where they have mostly medium silver across the board. Gorok would start large because, I mean, he's large, and the lords again could go up to gold. Otherwise, it's pretty stock standard. I would give the skinks just bronze because they're just using little hide cover-ups, but whatever. Norska! Aside from Wulfric's big, scary wall of a shield, the shields are kind of pathetic among the rest of the lineup, so they would all be just medium bronze, maybe silver for the lords and the Marauder champions, I don't know. But there's really not that many in the entire faction. I would suggest, again, maybe the monsters get a small bronze just to show that they can swat things or hold their arms up. Skaven! Don't have nearly as many shields as you think they do. They would all just be medium bronze for the most part, even the lords, because, I mean, they don't care about it once they get on a mount, and that's where you want them. I guess you can make Storm Vermin silver if you really needed to, but otherwise, I mean, there's the Jezzails, and they just hide behind theirs. You could give Red Ogres small bronze, or call a Doomwheel large silver? I don't know. Tomb Kings would be basically large bronze across the board because they got big rotting shields, but something unique I was thinking of is lords and heroes could start at bronze but work up to silver and then gold just through a natural skill tree where it's like, oh, they're regaining the lost power, the enchantments of their gear is coming back, whatever. Suggestion is maybe give their constructs silver medium shields because they got big arms and weapons to block things, but The Vampire Coast does not have a single shielded unit in the entire roster, and I'm not even going to touch them. Vampire counts. Yeah, sure, we'd say the lords and heroes are medium silver, the infantry is medium bronze because it's all rotting, Cavalry could be medium silver because they're in slightly better shape. Pretty generic. I would say maybe corpse carts have an aura that gives small bronze shields, but I mean, we really don't need that. Chaos! I really can't tell the difference between medium and large with these guys, but I know it starts at silver, so somewhere along the spectrum, just decide who gets what. But certainly Chosen would have large gold, because they're Chosen. Marauders would be normal bronze, because, screw them. And again, Trolls, small bronze, whatever. Wood Elves do not have a lot of shields, not a single shielded lord to begin with. Most of their shields are on cavalry, and I'm kind of weirded out because on the one hand they're big, so I want to call them large, but on the other hand they're cavalry, so maybe they should be medium. I don't know. War Dancers and Shadow Dancers, you can just do the same Slayer and Sister of Slaughter treatment, make them medium or small silver. And then Treemen and Zotes, I guess, again, monster thing. They can hold up their arm and block it. And so that's my hypothetical shield update. I hope you found it amusing, or at least infuriating enough that you yell at me in the comments section, because I crave any attention you can give me. So, goodbye.